In this SAP Tech Byte video, we want to have a look at the role of user administration in SAP HANA Cloud. All SAP HANA Cloud, SAP HANA database instances have an administration user named DBADMIN. Now this user is reserved for use by SAP customers. You can use this user to log on to the SAP HANA cockpit and perform all initial user administrative tasks. In the SAP HANA Cloud, the HANA database instances do have a system user, but this is now reserved for use by SAP. The corresponding customer super user, as we said, is DBADMIN, which you would use to log in initially to the system and create other administrative users for your purposes. In this video, we want to go through that basic task of getting started with a fresh system, using the DBADMIN user to initialize your other users and do other basic setup, and then see some best practices of how you should treat the DBADMIN user moving forward.
Let's start by having a look at the DBADMIN user. DBADMIN has the following privileges that are required to manage users and user groups, which play an important role in SAP HANA Cloud. So first of all, DBADMIN has the object privilege user group operator for the default user group. And this is what you would need to allow DBADMIN to create new users. Now, a general recommendation is to create and organize users in SAP HANA Cloud into groups other than default. A general best practice is to create appropriate administrative users and groups with a more limited set of privileges to avoid using DBADMIN for any routine use. Next, DBADMIN has the system privilege create user group. This is what allows DBADMIN to create new user groups. Finally, DBADMIN has the object privilege execute on the stored procedures grant user group operator and revoke user group operator. These stored procedures allow DBADMIN to resolve a situation in which a user group cannot be managed because no user has the user group operator object privilege on the group. This can happen, for example, when the only user with the privilege is dropped. DBADMIN is also authorized to execute some other stored procedures related to basic user administration. However, these procedures are deprecated and should no longer be used. Therefore, only focus on the main things that we've discussed here. Now let's look at an example scenario of how to get started with your SAP HANA Cloud system. This scenario is going to illustrate some basic user administration tasks to create new groups and users. And this is the basic process that you should follow when you have a new SAP HANA Cloud system. You should not continue to use DBADMIN for day-to-day operations, but instead only use it on the initialization of a new system to create the other administrative user specific to your use case and the corresponding groups. After you complete this task, you can deactivate DBADMIN and use it as only an emergency backup user. Now, where possible, user group authorization and assignments of new users to a user group take place automatically. First, the user creating a user group automatically gets the user group operator privilege for that particular group. Second, if the user group can be unambiguously inferred from the user group privileges of the creating user, then that group is automatically assigned to a new user. And that's what we're going to see in this scenario, so hopefully it'll make more sense as we walk through it. So first, the DBADMIN user creates two new groups. In this situation, we're going to create one called operators and one called night shift. As group creator, DBADMIN automatically gets the user group operator privileges on these two new groups. DBADMIN then creates a new user called admin01 and specifies that that user is created in user group operators using the set user group clause. DBADMIN then grants user group operator on user group operators to admin01, and that makes them a user group operator for that particular group. Admin01 user then creates a new user, admin02. Because admin01 only has the user group operator privilege on one single user group, being operators that we created in the previous step, admin02 is automatically created in that same operator's user group. This diagram shows the flow of what we've created so far. Next, DBADMIN grants the user group operator privilege on user groups operators and night shift to admin02. When admin02 creates a new user, let's call it night shift operator, because admin02 has the user group operator privilege on two user groups, it is necessary to explicitly specify the new user should be created in user group night shift. Now that we've done the initial user and user group setup in our little demo scenario, we should really consider deactivating the DBADMIN user. it is highly recommended that in productive HANA Cloud systems that you do deactivate the DBADMIN user. In order to deactivate the DBADMIN user, you need to be logged on with the user with the object privilege user group operator for the default user group. As we discussed previously, it's highly recommended that you do not use DBADMIN for day-to-day activities in productive systems. Instead, only use it to create the database users with minimum privilege sets required for their duties, just as we did in the previous example with operator and night shift. Once you complete those steps, then you should deactivate the DBADMIN user. Now, deactivating the DBADMIN user does not delete that user. In fact, it's not possible to delete the DBADMIN user, as it's a protected special kind of user. But when you deactivate the DBADMIN user, it does allow you to possibly temporarily reactivate the DBADMIN user at a later time for emergency or further bootstrapping tasks. To deactivate the DBADMIN user, simply execute an alter user statement with the deactivate command, as shown here. Following execution of this command, the DBADMIN user is deactivated and can no longer connect to the SAP HANA database. However, it may still appear as though DBADMIN is active in the system. You may see it in traces and logs because there are procedures that were created by the DBADMIN user and execute with definer mode. So that's perfectly normal to continue to still see some activity executing as the DBADMIN user. Now, if you want to verify that the DBADMIN user is deactivated, then simply use the user's system view. For user DBADMIN, check the values user deactivated, deactivation time, and last successful connect. You can still use the DBADMIN user as an emergency user, even if it has been deactivated. Any user with the system privilege user group operator for the user group default can reactivate DBADMIN with the statement alter user DBADMIN activate user now. To ensure that an administrator does not do this accidentally, it is recommended that you create an audit policy monitoring alter user statements. Also, change the password of the DBADMIN user after reactivating it.
And this concludes this SAP Tech Bytes video looking at basic user administration bootstrapping using the DBADMIN user in SAP HANA Cloud. I hope that this video has clarified the differences between the system and DBADMIN user and provided you with some best practice examples of how to get started with your user administration task in an SAP HANA Cloud system.